Hello and welcome to the BuiltOnAir Podcast. BuiltOnAir is a regular podcast where we talk with everyday people and learn about the amazing things they are doing with Airtable. Today's podcast is sponsored by OpenSide, the leading solutions provider for Airtable customers. Check out openside.com to learn more about their products and services that can take your Airtable usage to the next level. Use promo code BuiltOnAir to receive $20 towards any product purchase. On today's episode, we travel virtually to Phoenix, Arizona to speak with Jérémy Chevallier, designer, builder, and marketer. From founding and running several businesses to dabbling in the creative arts, Jérémy is truly a jack of all trades. Today, he takes us through his entrepreneurial journey and how Airtable helped him run his entire business. Jérémy studied at Arizona State University with a combined major of business marketing and graphic design. After graduating and working for different marketing agencies, he decided to start his own. This allowed him to learn even more about the marketing world and greatly contributed to his ability to build creative solutions that not only look great, but function well in a business environment. Jérémy discovered Airtable through his friend and co-founder, Matt. Together they ran their business, PubLoft, almost entirely through Airtable. In today's screen share portion, Jérémy shows us the base that he credits with helping PubLoft get to $24,000 a month in revenue in just 7 months. Today, Jérémy is working on projects such as Crash.co, a job hunting site with a personalized twist, and GigLoft, which teaches freelancers how to run their own businesses. Check out the show notes for links to learn more about Jérémy and see his base on the Airtable universe.
This was the base that we were using. So as you can see here, we had topics, which were topic clusters. Let me just get you where I can see you. Okay. We had topic clusters, which were sort of like, they formed the basis for all of the assignments. And the reason it was important to split those up was because, if we wanted to write on a topic such as, how to build an Airtable, it was possible that the first assignment that we created based on that topic would be either not accepted by the client or it would be fine, but then they would want to do like a follow-up post on the same topic. And so the assignments topics thing was important to differentiate sort of like a repository of all possible topics. Mm-hmm. And then assignments were the literal things being written about those topics.
Right, so you have a one-to-many relationship.
Exactly.
Awesome.
And so, so here, I'll expand actually. So we were logging all of our customers here, all of our people. So our writers, editors, designers, strategists, and everyone. And then at first, we were actually building our own master keyword list. And the idea was really to just like get like a data flywheel going on search volumes, keyword difficulty, click-through potential. What was this? Oh, and then this was our own score that we were computing of like how valuable, like for example, when we were working with a CBD client for a while, this term Las Vegas dispensary, 60,000 monthly searches, super low KD, super high click-through potential from SEMrush. And so it had a 12.54 score, which we would, sort this. Where is it? Oh yeah, PubLoft score. And so we would sort this and, it's because I'm grouping. And just get we would do a ton of keyword research and then see what keywords were most valuable to hit immediately. Mm-hmm. And we sort of left that behind as we went along. But yeah, so PubLoft ran off of this base and primarily off of these first 5 or 4 tables. We originally were doing deliverables. So you could see that we had, like an ebook, or a classic article, a white paper, keyword research as like a productized service. Like what is 1 unit of keyword research? Like it was hard to figure out. And so we ended up just selling monthly recurring strategy plus how many articles do you want to publish per month? Is it every 2 weeks? Is it every week? Is it twice a week or whatever? And all of these would be created by our strategists in our Weebly portal, which is no longer up, but essentially it was a Weebly page access, restricted access Weebly page with an embedded view of this topics database so that they could see topics that were, I think the status was ready for production. Ready to send. And so it would show all of the topics from here. And then they would use a type form to trigger the zap that would create the assignment in the Airtable assignments database, find the writer that they wanted to assign it to based on the writer's ID in the Our People database, look up the email address of the writer, send the writer an email, create a Google Doc from a template, and send that to the writer and share them access and say, here's your thing, you can start writing. Also remind them where they could find the customer's strategy document. And so with like a 4-field type form in our Weebly portal, a content strategist in the PubLoft days was able to essentially do 16 actions just by submitting that type form. And it allowed us to stay super up to date with like statuses. Like status management was really easy that way. Keeping track of, which writers were assigned to which customers, where all the Google Docs were, the date that it was assigned, the date that it's due back from the writer, the date the writer claimed it, the date they submitted it, whether it was later on time. And then we tried doing like a bunch of cool stuff where we were like calculating. So we had editors, it's all hidden, but we had editors basically rating the quality of the content, rating the post submissions on a few different factors. And we were logging that in Airtable and then calculating scores that we would assign to the assignment based on the editor's feedback. And then we would compute that or like roll that up into an overall, like an average score for the writers. And we had a leaderboard of like the best writers. It was a lot of fun.
That's awesome. And that's a good way to kind of like spark some more creativity and a little competition between people. And that's fun.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm happy to share anything or like answer any questions, but that's pretty much the gist of it, right? Is like, it was all run through Zapier and all like relationally so that we could easily look things up from one database to a next.
Absolutely. And did you use any blocks at all, or have you been at all recently?
So let's see. That is a good question. No, we were not really using blocks back in the day. I actually have used blocks a lot more for GigLoft, just to see like referral sources and that sort of thing. But yeah, I think blocks were either introduced while we were building all of this out or recently had built it out. And so we never really did much with them. But I know they're super powerful.
They are getting more and more powerful. I'm super excited about all the new things that they've been rolling out. The scripting block is super cool.
What is that?
You can use JavaScript to write code to like run little programs in your base.
Oh my goodness.
It's so cool. Do you know JavaScript at all?
Just a little bit.
You really only need a little bit. They give you a couple examples, and like you can just tweak from there. Like they give you examples on how to do run a report, and you can print it off from this block, or like it's really cool.
Interesting. That's crazy.
Yeah.
See, we were using Zapier for this stuff, so I was teaching myself how to I was like doing a combination of like Zapier support forums, Airtable forums, and just like Stack Exchange to teach myself enough JavaScript to be able to use Zapier's custom Zap or custom functionality or whatever the thing is called to do specific things like that. So it's cool that they've added it into Airtable.
Yeah, it's super cool. That's funny you mentioned that. I just started doing that as well with my zaps. Like instead of using the formatting steps, like
Yep.
4 in a row, I just do one big JavaScript block and it saves like 4 different tasks. It's wonderful.
That's right. Exactly. It reduces your Zapier usage.
Quite a bit. Absolutely. Well, this is a super impressive base, and this is available on the Airtable universe, correct?
Yeah, so there's a version of this that's available on the Airtable universe, which just cut out all of our customer data, the people data, and everything. But yeah, I mean, this is something like I cleaned it up. I cleaned it up somewhat for the Airtable universe thing, but it's still sort of just got all of the records in it, because it was just like too hard to like batch clean. But what I really want to do at some point is actually build sort of like a from scratch base with topics, assignments, customers, people, deliverables, and maybe master keyword list. But just like something from scratch that is like, just a template that anybody can like spin up. And I'll say one more thing, actually, I just realized this. So we were also creating customer views that we were sharing in like a customer portal, right? So that they could see it, like they could have real-time access into our internal system to see which posts were going to be delivered on which dates and all that stuff.
That's super useful.
Yeah, and we were paying writers through this view. So we had a filter where payment was empty, writer submission date was not empty, so they had submitted the article, and it didn't contain this customer is writer thing, and writer wasn't empty, and it would return basically. Oh, and there were more filters. I changed these for the last payroll that I ran, but we were actually filtering to show the previous 2 weeks assignments that had been turned in. That was who we were paying that week. And then 2 weeks later, the base would update with the new list of assignments that had been submitted. So it's just like a super simple way to have perfect eyes on who hasn't been paid yet and who is submitted something in the time frame that we're paying for right now. And it made for just like really quick, like paying all of our writers was an every other Friday thing in the space of 20 minutes. It was done.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you could even like hook it up with PayPal too, to just like send it all out. Or
I know. Well, and so if we were doing this again, I would do a lot more with like custom webhooks, and I would actually do it directly through Stripe, because we were originally using like Zoho subscriptions, and we tested Bonsai, we tested QuickBooks, and then finally Zoho subscriptions was kind of what made sense for what we wanted to do, since we were doing subscriptions with our customers, no one-off projects, and then Zoho subscriptions is just like a huge pain in the ass. Don't recommend the product at all. What I actually recommend, which is what we ended up doing in the last few months, was just going directly in Stripe. Because on Stripe, you can create products, you can create subscriptions, and just like create a customer, create a subscription for that customer, subscribe them to XYZ products and all this stuff. And I don't know all the functionality that Zapier offers for Stripe specifically, right. But I know that there is some that we were using, and it would have just been so much easier to use something like that to like basically anything that's like, we would just, the idea would be, the flow would be, you go in as an administrator and you go through the assignments and you just tick a box that's like approved for payment or whatever. Approved for payroll, and then it would add it to a queue in Zapier that would trigger a Stripe function every 2 weeks, and just go look up those writers and automatically, pay them out or something.
Super cool. Exactly. Yeah. It saves so much time, and I just think it's going to keep growing and growing. More and more people are going to be latching on to Airtable and being able to run their business from it. And this is a great jumping off point for people to get started.
I agree. For anybody who wants to build like a something where they're collaborating with, if you're a content strategist or a content marketer and you don't want to write all the content, or you just want to like be able to scale yourself, like building something like this is the best way to do it, because it's custom, but it doesn't require spending $10,000 on a developer to build a custom solution. And it automated so much of our recurring week to week, day to day activities. That is what enabled us to like stay focused on serving the customer and on increasing the quality of our products and services, rather than, being stuck like managing and organizing all day.
Absolutely. Going into massive tech debt and not being able to get back out of it. So that's awesome.
Yep, exactly.
Wonderful. Well, I applaud you for that. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Of course. And where can our listeners go to learn more about you? And we'll definitely put a link to the Universe Base in the show notes as well. Yeah,
absolutely. The best place to find me is my website, which is jeremy.chevallier.net. And from there, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, everything sort of links out from there. But that's the landing pad.
Excellent. Well, we'll put all of that in the show notes. And thank you so much, Jeremy. It was a pleasure talking with you today.
Of course. Thanks so much for having me. It was a pleasure on my end as well.
Wonderful. Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
Thank you.